High Impact 102.1 FM.
Eight minutes past 7 right here on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning. Welcome to the newspaper review, where we analyze all of the stories that made front page on some of the dailies that we have with us today. And today I start with obviously the biggest story, JAMB. And I'll lead with what the official Twitter handle of, the administration board said. And it leads with this. It says, "Man proposes, God disposes." It has been established that a technical glitch affected 157 centers out of the 887 centers in the 2025 UTME. And this was basically responsible for the general low performance of the candidates scheduled to sit the examination in those centers. As such, all the affected candidates will be contacted to reprint their examination slips towards retaking the examination starting from 16th May 2025, which is tomorrow. And I had to lead with that one because it says, "Man proposes, God disposes." And I don't know why that was even necessary in the first place. Because sometimes in this part of the world, we try to, make everything look like it's destiny or it's faith, it's some sort of religious inkling to most of those things. Meanwhile, it's just basically human error. It's just basically humans' incapacity to do what they are supposed to do. Yes, we saw the video where the JAMB registrar, the person of Ishaq Oloyede, on TV and cried and say it was his fault and he bears all the consequences and all of that. But it's important that we understand that making sure we walk towards perfection when we are conducting anything we do is the only way we can get things done properly. I see no reason why in big 2025, where even way before now, where you have computer-based tests and the results do not come out instantly. Like I can remember back in UTMEs where we did, computer-based tests, or even interviews where we had computer-based tests, and immediately you submit, there's an instant result and you get to know your faith immediately. Also to note that the eastern states, the 5 eastern states and Lagos State were the centers that was affected, and this comprises of 337,000 candidates that were affected. Now the question is, how long will JAM give to these pupils for them to prepare to write the exams? Is it going to be instant? Do they need preparations? Is it going to be new exams from the get-go? Do they have to prepare again? How long would it take for them to get to do that? Well, it's starting tomorrow, which is the 16th of May. Is that enough time for the students? Is it enough time for the organization to actually get their act right and put things in order? These are the major questions that needs to be asked, and more importantly, hope we do not get to see something like this ever happening again in the education sector. And this is how I welcome you to the newspaper review right here on impact Radio 102.1 FM. My name is Uche Okorie.
And I am Holubumi Haguda.
Okay, so myself and Bumi will be here analyzing and dissecting some of the stories that we have right here on the front page this morning. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and get to contribute on the show. And the only way for you to do that is if you call us up on 0704 425 2109. I take that one more time, 0704 425 2109. Or if you reach us via WhatsApp or the regular text message on 0907 224 5018. 0907 224 5018. We are live on YouTube, so go subscribe to our YouTube channel at impact 102.1 FM. You can reach us on X, FKA, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at impact 1021 FM. On Facebook, it's impact Radio 102.1 FM. So the show is about to get started. So, let's go for a short break. And when we come back, we will be diving into the papers in full. Don't go nowhere. It is your urban lifestyle station, impact Radio 102.1 FM.
Welcome to High Impact Studios, the place where creativity meets production perfection. Need an outstanding audio production? We deliver professional jingles, engaging voiceovers, and attention-grabbing radio promos that stand out from the crowd.
If you're in the podcasting world, we've got the ideal recording space for you. Our studio is designed to ensure pristine sound, making it the perfect place to bring your podcast to life.
But we don't stop at audio. Looking for a space to film your next big project? High Impact Studios offers customizable spaces for movie sets and video production,
giving you everything you need to create stunning visuals.
Whatever your vision, High Impact Studios is here to make it a reality.
Let's create something amazing together.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. In case you're just joining us, you are right on time as the show is just getting started. Yes, the newspaper review is the show you are listening to on your urban lifestyle station. And we will be starting with the Guardian newspaper this morning. And the Guardian leads with the biggest story of the day. And it says, JAMB admits system error, released 379,997 candidates for fresh exams. This story you find on page 6. This was the story which we led with while opening for the show today. And I asked pertinent questions that most Nigerians, will ask. But hopefully, the right things are done to make sure that this kind of situation never happens again. And more importantly, investment into our education system needs to be done. Reinvestment, because yes, a lot of investment has been done in the past, but more needs to be done. They need to check out so many things, review so many ways things are done. Exams like this, many things needs to be reviewed. It doesn't need to be this difficult. It doesn't need to be, it's not rocket science to get all of these things done. And, having it easier for our kids to go do these exams, go back home smoothly, have access to their results easily, and, no uproar later in the day for unnecessary things that shouldn't happen in the first place. But mistakes have been admitted, and, steps have been taken, to correct those mistakes. And so we move forward hoping it never happens again. Beside that one, we see this story. Afrima 2025, African Union Awards host City Night to Lagos. Okay. African Union Awards host City Right to Lagos. Lagos, the city of excellence, obviously. Also a call for show, definitely. When you're talking about the hype life, you're talking about the entertainment life, Lagos. You're talking about the economy life, Lagos. So Lagos for sure. So it's normal to expect many of these things coming to the city of excellence. Hopefully more states can invest in their states, and probably will be having competitions from different other states and not only Lagos. Underneath that one, Loot the cry, staff shortage, high electricity bills amid infrastructure gains. That story you find on page 7, and this is a double combo, Bumi. This is a really double combo, because now we're talking staff shortage, we're talking electricity, and this is still menace that has been disturbing the country for years. And I'm talking about staff shortage. This is due to JAPA, which is because of obviously the economic situation, the working situation in our hospitals, the health sector, and how it is at the moment, which is why most persons, up and leave. But also electricity. One thing that we've always said is the key situation that might solve about 50% of all our problem, because we understand that once there's constant electricity, it drives different sectors. Are we talking about the education sector? It drives the education sector. Are we talking about the health sector? It drives the health sector. Also, the economy. So, when are we going to really come to that point where all
everything
this
will be balanced?
Will be balanced. I sometimes imagine it, don't you?
We are just we just keep hoping and looking forward to it, because it is. I don't even know what to say.
Well, it is drastic. It is a drastic situation that needs to be solved, and hopefully the government will nip it in the bud eventually, because Nigerians have been waiting administration after administration for these things to be solved, especially when it comes to electricity. But we also saw on the news that 2 hydropower stations has been approved in Oyo State, which once they function, it means it's going to be an extra gain into our national grid. That is the amount of electricity that we will get to generate. So it's a beautiful news, and hopefully that one comes to see the light of the day, and we will hear stories about it. Underneath it, we get to see this story. CBN targets $1 billion monthly remittance from BVN access for Nigerians in diaspora. That story you find on business page 515, business page 15 of the Guardian newspaper. Chief leaders accuse Nasarawa government of ethnic cleansing, land seizure under guise of development. Chief leaders accuse Nasarawa government of ethnic cleansing, land seizure under guise of development. That story you find on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Underneath it, FG upbeat about reforms amid criticisms over proposed London press conference. You find this story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Huge criticisms, so many people spoke against the conference, the proposed conference. It's a conference, going on in London, and the federal government intends, at least with some ministers, intend to go there to, lay out the achievements of this current administration. And so many Nigerians are feeling like, is it necessary? Are there really things to lay out that we do not know about or we are not feeling? Because if there are going to be, achievements, as Nigerians, we should have known these achievements. First and foremost, what are these achievements? Let us know them. And is it really necessary for you to go to London? At least this is what many Nigerians and experts are saying. That is it necessary for them to go to London to go show these achievements when technology is so good now that you could just do this via Zoom? And many are saying this because they feel like the situation of Nigeria economically with things that are going on, they don't think it's wise for the government to, keep spending on travelings and all of that. That there are some things that are not necessarily needed to be done that can be done via technology, via Zoom, something like this. These are what experts and other Nigerians are saying. And so the FG are still looking into it, and it's obvious they're hearing the criticism. And so who knows, maybe they will go and do the proposed conference and lay out this achievement, or probably they might stay back and do the same thing via Zoom or any other technological way they can get to do it, or maybe they might say nothing at all. Who knows? But we are here and we will find out in the coming days. Underneath the nameplate this morning, we see this story, and this one is coming from Benue State and Plateau State. And nowadays, when we hear those two states and news coming out from those states, it's always the same thing. Killings. And it says here, fresh killings in Benue Plateau claim over 23 persons cattle. Fresh killings in Benue Plateau claims over 23 persons cattle. Beside that one, Boko Haram uses hard to detect armed drones in Borno. OPHK reveals. Boko Haram uses hard to detect armed drones in Borno. You find this story on page 3. And this story is the reason why many Nigerians feel, and many security experts feels like Nigerian security operation needs to start going or targeting those ones who are purportedly the sponsors of these insurgents, because an insurgent like this definitely has sponsors. How did the drones come into the country in the first place? Who brought it in for them? Who supplied it to them? Where did it go through to get to them? So many questions has to be asked, and many Nigerians feel if we can go after these ones who are the big wigs, because let's be honest with ourselves, the average poor Nigerian man that is still looking for food to eat does not have access in any way to import drones into the country. Obviously, he doesn't have access to do that because he can't even find food for himself. The average Nigerian who can find food for themselves does not have access to import guns into the country, sophisticated weapons into the country. So obviously, it's certain class of people in the society that have the ability, the rich ones, I guess to say, or the elites that has this whole financial ability to do all of this. They will be the ones who can sponsor. And of course, they use the foot soldiers who are the hungry, the poor, the people who are just reckless, the ones who are just intentionally want to do bad, because it's a mixture of everything. Because some people are there because to them, that's the only way they can survive. I don't say they don't have a choice, because everybody has a choice. So to them, that's the choice. They feel it's the only way they can survive, or it's the only way they can get what they want to get. And so when Nigerians say, go for these big wigs, go for these, so-called sponsors, it's understandable, because if you cut out the head, then nothing else works.
Exactly.
Nothing else works once you cut out the head. But yes, keep going. I don't think we've had so many news. I'm sure probably, yes, there could be one or two of maybe so-called sponsors being captured. I don't know. But to the best of my knowledge, I don't think we hear constantly where they say they've caught a sponsor of these insurgents, or maybe a sponsor of Boko Haram, a sponsor of ISWAP, any of their sponsors. And these are the people that really needs to be gone for, get them, arrest them, cut off the head of the snake, and probably
the body
is useless entirely, because now those ones can't work anymore because now nobody's supplying the foods. They can't work anymore because now nobody's supplying the weapons, nobody's supplying the drones for them, nobody's supplying the vehicles for them. So all of these things are things that we understand that the Nigerian security agencies know, because they know how to do their job 100%. But then you ask the question, how come this had not been done? Is it because they know the people perpetrating these crimes are more clever than our security agencies, that they're hiding so far that our security agencies can't touch them? Or is it that there really is no political will to get it done? These are the questions most people are asking. How come these things is not done? We're talking about insurgency that has been there for years. We're talking about Boko Haram that has been there for years. It is not 10 years. It's not 5 years. It's not 6 years. We're talking about since the administration of the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
Yeah.
Way back.
Same old story. Same old story.
Administration after administration after administration, defense staff after defense staff, IGs after IGs, NSAs after NSAs, and you just wonder what is really going on. Well, hopefully all these things are nipped in the bud, as we understand that Nigeria, as it stands now, is in a huge security nightmare, a huge one, and it really needs to be solved for us to get to that point where we will feel safe and go to bed with both eyes closed. There are people in Benue State who sleeps, with cutlasses under their pillows.
They don't even sleep at all, some of them.
Many of them do not sleep at all. And the country is not in a war.
I mean, their home is not safe for them anymore.
Many in IDP camps. It's no longer a home. The IDP is their home now. Someone who has not been back to where he has been all his life and he has not been able to go back for the past 10 years. The IDP is his home now. Some children were born in IDP camps. They don't know where their parents called home. Wherever they were given birth to now is what they know as home. The life they see now is the life they understand that they only have. Because where their parents call home, they can't go back to that place. What's the future of those kids? Final story on the Guardian newspaper this morning. NARD raises alarm over House officers' plight, exodus of doctors. NARD raises alarm over House officers' plight, exodus of doctors. This has to do with the National Association of Resident Doctors, complaining about the plight of their officers, and of course, the exodus of doctors. Japa happening here and there in the health sector. This is one thing that is dangerous for us, but at the same time, in the long run, can also be favorable if the right things are done. It is a newspaper review right on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. That's the Guardian newspaper for this morning. But let's go on a short break. And when we come back, we will be looking at the other papers that we have with us today. Don't go nowhere. Our Impact Radio 102.1 FM.
It's a powerful feeling you can't quite put into words. Transformative, overwhelming, awe-inspiring. Can you feel it? That palpable energy? Get ready for a night where the praise goes up and your spirit soars. High Impact Praise Blast is coming.
Take all of my praise and adoration.
A concert experience packed with high energy, powerful worship, passionate praise, and overflowing thanksgiving. We're reloading the praise. Get ready for High Praise Reloaded. Save the date, Friday, the 26th of December 2025. Venue, High Impact Planet Road, Kilometer 12, Lagos Ibadan Expressway, opposite MFM Prayer City, Ibafo. Time, 7 p.m. For more inquiries, please call 0706 393 5694 or 08104 229 9509. An electrifying night like this is not one that you want to miss. High Impact Praise Blast. Get ready to ignite your fire. Fire.
You are the most like a shaman. Ale alusano boa, kimake kimashadua.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Welcome back to the show. We are, one paper in, 3 more papers to go. So in case you're just joining us, well, you're meeting us right on time for the rest of the papers. You can always be a part of the conversation if you call us up on 0704 425 2109, 0704 425 2109, or if you reach us via WhatsApp or the regular text message on 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018. The Daily Trust newspaper is the paper we are looking at now. We're on YouTube. I forgot to say that. Our Impact 102.1 FM. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get to see us live right now in the studio. 2025 UTME. Candidates seek total cancellation as JAMB admits error. It has one writer to that story. It says why we failed. This one is according to Loyede. And this headline, you won't blame them. I don't think anyone has the right to blame them because it was a huge failure, huge amount of people, and the fact that JAMB could admit that, okay, yes, something went wrong, and although they specifically chose, at least they identified the centers that something went wrong. So for those ones who feel like, okay, maybe we should just have a complete retake, you can't blame them because they'll feel like, how are we so sure those are the only centers that had issues? Because now the centers only covered the 5 eastern states and Lagos State. Those were the only places where, JAMB said there were issues which they are going to have a rewrite of their exams. 379,000 people to be exact, about 379,990 something to be exact. So for these ones to say, okay, I think we need to have a receipt in entirety, will you really blame them?
I won't. I won't. I feel like it's the fact that they gave another open opportunity and a second chance is really a good thing.
Well, it's a good thing, but is it really a second chance? I feel the second chance is for those ones who has been identified that, okay, an issue really happened here. And those were the candidates, the 379 candidates, at least JAMB has admitted that, okay, for you 379,000, there was error. And so maybe those are the only ones that deserve the so-called second chance.
I mean, it's going to serve them all round.
But I can get the feeling because now all these other ones who feel like, are you sure it's only those people? And me too, because I read so hard. How come I got 120? I know I read really hard. Yeah, I get it. I get the feeling, but it has been done. It has been said. Who knows? Maybe with these candidates who spoke to the Daily Trust, because this is an exclusive story from the Daily Trust, and probably they might have their own day to get their voices heard. And who knows? Maybe everybody will sit, but I really doubt that. I sincerely doubt that will happen. Underneath that huge story, we see this one herder. Over 100 cows killed in fresh plateau attack. One herder, over 100 cows killed in fresh Plateau attack. You find that story on page 27. A really, really sad one here. I think this also has to do with the crisis going on in Plateau State at the moment. And is this a reprisal attack? Is this just an attack? Well, you need to go look at the Daily Trust, page 27, for you to have all of these details. Underneath it, no more coup in Nigeria. This is according to Go One, and no one wants that in this part of the world. Page 14 is where that story is. Underneath it, discordant tunes over ban on live political programs in Kano. Discordant tunes over ban of live political programs in Kano. And I really do not understand this one, because politics is the way of life of the people right now. There's nothing about this life that does not have politics, bringing his hands to, to impact. Everything we do is due to the political decisions of the political actors or the political gladiators in each state, in each local government, in each country. Politics is what determines everything. And so when political programs are being banned, it makes it look like you don't want people talking about the political activities of your country, or you don't want people talking about the political activities of your state. I do not understand what the Kano state government is trying to do, but every eyes, at least for many journalists, is going to be on Kano for time being to find out what is really going on. Why is there a ban on political live programs? Is there some sort of hidden agenda? Is there something to it? These are the so many questions many Nigerian journalists are asking, and which they hope answers will be given to. Underneath that one, how Yar'Adua's memo on election triggered rift with Obasanjo. This one is coming from Sule Lamido. You find that story on page 5 in case you're interested in the history of Yar'Adua and Obasanjo, at least concerning this particular situation. You need to go check page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Underneath the nameplate of the Daily Trust today, we see this story. DSS 6 court order to ban Utomi's shadow government. DSS 6 court order to ban Utomi's shadow government. You find that story on page 11, page 13, I beg your pardon, of the Daily Trust newspaper. Beside it, PDP crisis. NWC meets today as Southeast Caucus threatens exit. NWC meets today as Southeast Caucus threatens exit. You find that story on page 12 of the Daily Trust this morning. And finally, on the Daily Trust this morning, Nigeria's insecurity worrisome, says British High Commissioner. Nigeria's insecurity worrisome, says British High Commissioner. That story you find on page 14 of the Daily Trust this morning. Impact Radio 102.1 FM, the newspaper review is what you are listening to. And of course, we told you can always be a part of the conversation. And we got one of you here. And it says, good morning, Mr. Uche and my sister in the studio. She is Bumi. It says, my name is John Amodu from Simawa, Ogun State. Good morning, John. And it says, on the issue of JAMB, it's so disheartening that terrible things are happening in this country. Thought I applaud the Minister of Education for accepting responsibility, unlike other sectors that may be given self-defense and focus on 2027. Please note that will the righteous do if the foundation is destroyed? Okay. Please note that what will the righteous do if the foundation is destroyed? That means if we are calling for his resignation, we should do the same to Tinubu, who has destroyed the country with bad policies and propaganda. Secondly, I wept when I noticed that the Senate, in their plenary within the week, did not even give 1 minute silence to our soldiers who are killed by the insurgent. What a country. Killing is now part of the country. May God revive this country. That particular one is from John Amodu in Simawa, Ogun State. Thank you so much, John Amodu. You can also, reach us via WhatsApp or the regular text message if you message us on 0907 224 5018. But in case you want to call us up in the studio, the number for you to do that is on 0704 425 2109. Okay, from the Daily Trust newspaper, we move straight to the Punch newspaper. And the Punch newspaper leads with this one. It says, mass failure. Jam boss weeps as human error forces Lagos Southeast receipts. You find this story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. We've spoken about this one. And so there's more detail right here on the Punch newspaper with a couple of riders to it. It says 206,610 candidates affected in Lagos, 173,387 in the Southeast, making it a total of 379,999 students. Other rider to that story says JAMB WAEC meet to avoid timetable clashes. JAMB WAEC meet to avoid timetables clash. You find this story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Underneath it, we get to see images of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbotekun, as he is during a tour of an exhibition center of the ongoing World Police Summit in Dubai. So this image is from yesterday in Dubai. Underneath it, NNPCL didn't remit 500 billion naira revenue in 2024. That's according to the World Bank. NNPCL didn't remit 500 billion naira revenue in 2024. This story you find on page 19. Now the question is, what will be done about it? We know who the former chair or the MD CEO of the NNPC was. Will questions be asked? Will we get answers? Or will it be swept under the carpet? PDP crisis worsens as Southeast caucus mauls defection. You find that story on page 18. Beside it, Afrima 2025 AU Awards host city right to Lagos. AU Awards host city right to Lagos. That story you see on page 6 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Just beside the nameplate, rising insecurity. Tinubu governors to deploy 130,000 new forest guards nationwide. Rising insecurity. Tinubu governors to deploy 130,000 new forest guards nationwide. That is huge. That's a beautiful one in my own books, basically. And I think it's so because we need those ones who will guard our forest. The police can't be everywhere. The army can't be everywhere. How many of them do we have, if we're being honest with ourselves? How many of the police officers are available? How many of the army officers are available? As it stands today, the numbers of our security agencies, I don't think it's enough to go for every one of us, because we're talking about over 200 million Nigerians now. With the numbers we have in terms of defense force, I don't think they can cater for all of us. So more or less deploying most of them to the forest and all of that. So 130,000 new personnel, which I think is little one way or the other, but it's a good start, will help at least guard our forest. What do you think? You don't think it will help?
I don't think so.
Why? Why do you don't think so? You just don't feel so.
I absolutely just don't feel so, actually.
Oh man. Then I guess we are really, really scared in this part of the world, because if we are not convinced, then how will other people feel? Because the truth of the matter is 130,000 is not huge with the situation we have in the country at the moment, but it's a good step in making sure that things are mitigated. Those ones in the forest will at least know the happenings in the forest, and we know most of these people hide in the forest, not on the mainland, not in normal houses. The forest is the safest place for them. So 130,000 of Nigerians going into the forest to make sure the forest is safe for us who are not staying in the forest. I think it's a good one. I think it's a good move, but hopefully it's implemented to the latter. Hopefully it's not something that is just said on paper and there is no real practical on the streets or in the everyday Nigerian's life. So let's just keep our fingers crossed, and maybe there'll be improved numbers from 130,000 to maybe 200, 300, who knows. And the final story which we have right here on the Punch newspaper: court dismisses the application filed by General Hydrocarbons Limited to compel the Deputy Chief Registrar to serve the orders of the court on the parties to the suit, including the Nigerian Navy, NUPRC, NEMASA, and Abomaster. That story you can go look at on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. I think the story is on the front page. The entirety of the story is on the front page this morning, so you can look at the decisions that was made for you to find out about all of that. And that's the Punch for this morning. From the Punch to the Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard is the last paper for the day. The Vanguard leads with insecurity, and it says bandits feed our babies to their dogs. Man, that story you find on page 5, and that one is according to a Zamfara lawmaker. I'll take that one more time. It says bandits feed our babies to their dogs. Really gruesome tale there, if you ask me. Underneath that one, a couple of riders to it, and it says bandits now established as de facto authorities over local residents. Underneath that one, military more determined than ever to go after terrorists. This is according to the Chief of Defense Staff. And finally, on that story, it says worrisome insecurity is spillover from Sudan, Niger. This is according to the British envoy. So that story is on page 5, so go look at that one. Right here you see the image at the CBN at the launch of non-resident bank verification number, BVN. This one has to do with those ones who are living in diaspora and they need to get BVNs. So the launch was done yesterday, and we also saw Cardoso talking about a hope to make up to the CBN having an inflow of up to about $1 billion from this development. So let's see how that one pans out. Beside it, First Bank motion dismissed by court. That's according to GLAD. Find a story on page 32. Underneath it, customs intercept explosives concealed in 5 cartons of Quran. Customs intercept explosive concealed in 5 cartons of Quran. You see that story on page 7 in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. 2025 UTME JAM admits error, says 379,999 candidates to retake exam. You find that story on page 8. It has one writer to that story. ASU threatens legal action. Admission of error accepted. This according to NAPTAN. Candidates in 157 centers affected. Weeping not enough. Resign now. Varsity Dawn tells registrar. So all of the story you see on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Underneath it, AU Awards, Afrima hosting rights to Lagos. AU Awards, Afrima hosting rights to Lagos. You find that story on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. Cybercrime Act, FG Partners NAS, Media others on review. FG Partners NAS, Media others on review. You find this story on page 9, and that one is according to the Information Minister. So you need to go look at that story for you to find out all of those details this morning. Right above the nameplate of the Vanguard newspaper has to do with the dismissal of the application filed by General Hydrocarbons, which compels the Nigerian Navy, NUPRC, and NIMASA and Abomaster to be in the suit which they filed, and that one has been thrown out by the court. And so I guess many more stories will come in the coming days concerning that particular one. Looking at the sports corner of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, it says this one: 2025 Under-20 AFCON. Port Harcourt upbeat, Flying Eagles will beat South Africa. Harcourt upbeat, Flying Eagles will beat South Africa. The Flying Eagles happens to be in the semi-finals of the Under-20 AFCON. They have qualified to the Under-20 World Cup. But the 7-time champion hope to beat South Africa so as to get into the final and hopefully get to win the competition for record 8th time. They are the record holders with 7, and so it will be beautiful to, put one more glory on that particular crown that they have there, an extra feather to it to make them look all good. And that's the much that we can take for the Vanguard this morning. Well, with the Vanguard is how we call it a day today on the newspaper review right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM, the station that makes sure we keep you informed, educated, and of course entertained. We give you the very best of radio experience right here. Today is Thursday, and of course it's a beautiful one, a wet one if I may say. And of course we right here on the Morning Impact, we are here to make sure you have all of the fun that you can imagine. I'll be back again tomorrow for the newspaper review, but until then, make sure you always do the right things and make sure you always place your part at the right path, as being right and doing right is the only way to get you to that destination you want to be. Don't be a negative person. Don't be among those ones who are always calling for a better nation, but in their own little corner are always doing the negative things. It only makes you a hypocrite. My name is Uche Okove. Thank you so much for making a day with me.
And I am Holubumi Haguda. Thank you for staying tuned.
Okay, the newspaper review is done, but the show is not done. We will be here up until 12 noon for the Morning Impact. So hey, be prepared for the very, very best of throwback music. Don't go nowhere. The Morning Impact show continues.
You know about the multiverse.
This season, we're diving